Hello again, everyone, and welcome to this segment of One-on-One. Our guest today is so knowledgeable about the levee system here in Terrebonne Parish, and I look forward to interviewing her because she has earned her stripes and her wings. She is now in charge of the levee district. Who is it? Stick around. After the break, you're going to find out. One-on-One is brought to you by the Law Office of Waits and Downer. Angela, I want to go way back because, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
You have earned your wings. You have been there longer than anybody at the levee district. And they always point that out. Reggie and Tony always say, you know, Angela's been there longer than us combined. And I said, well, it's about time we give her some credit. You were so good at being behind the scenes, but you were doing a lot of the work.
That's true.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, so for people that want to get to know their new executive director of the Terrebonne Levee District, let's go way back. Let's go to the earliest years that you can recall. Where were you?
I was born in Jefferson Parish, and I grew up in Jefferson Parish. Went to St. Elizabeth and Seton Elementary School. I was the second graduating class there. Yeah. And then went to Archbishop Chappell High School, and then moved on to college and, went to UNO for a while, and then transferred to Nichols because of their business school. And graduated from Nichols, and I've been working for the levee district since in my mid-20s.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And what brought you to the levee district? Was there some kind of bridge that got you there? Was it by fate?
So that's an interesting question because all the time growing up as a kid, I wanted to be like, I thought I was going to be a teacher, and then I didn't really enjoy that curriculum. And then, so I switched to, I had taken a little break actually in college in New Orleans, and I worked for a retirement center. We built the Lambeth House it's right by the Audubon Zoo. It's a high-rise retirement community. I worked there. I loved working there, and I really enjoyed the work with the elderly, and it was like a life care community, so they had different stages of care. So I really enjoyed that, and I started off in reception, and then they transitioned me into accounting. So I started working for the accounting department, investing their funds, and I really liked it. And it just kind of opened my eyes to a different type of career that I never thought I'd be interested in at all. Mm-hmm. So when I switched to accounting, and then I went to Nichols for their accounting curriculum, and that's when I commuted for a while from New Orleans to Nichols, and then I ended up moving here. And then when I graduated, Jerome Zarang was the then director of the levee district, and he was looking for someone to come work with him, and my name got circulated around, I guess through professors at school or some kind of way, and he called me, and we had coffee one day, and the rest was history.
Wow. So I'm hearing all these things that you took up in college, accounting and different things. All of that, I guess, played into the decision later on to have you come on board because you were qualified to do a lot of different things.
I did. Before I graduated from my undergraduate degree, I did a lot of things. I did, when you're in college, you serve in restaurants just to make money and make ends meet and get yourself through college and do what you have to do. And so I've done that. That gave me a lot of interpersonal skills I really didn't have before. Just being a shy kid, at an all-girls school. I just didn't have a lot of courage, I guess, to kind of come out of my shell. So that helped in that regard. And then working for the general contractors who built the facility that I ended up finally in, I had managed engineers and contractors at the job site that built the Lambeth House. So I did that for a while. That gave me a lot of courage and a lot of strength to be able to pull all those personalities together. So that really helped me. And then working with the retirement community, just giving back to the elderly in the community, I really enjoyed that too. So I think all those things kind of shaped me when I landed at the levy district, I just kind of had all those skills from the past, and it kind of helped me deal with the challenges that it is in public service, and working for a board, and the public all the time. So that kind of helped me do all that stuff. So
Now, I know this next question is going to have you chuckle, but it'll have everybody I'm talking about chuckle also, because we all know that Tony, Reggie, Gordy, we could go through your board, with the exception of maybe one or two, every single one is a strong A personality.
that is true.
You've been surrounded by, and I say this in a fun way, you've been surrounded by wolves.
I know.
And when they want something, they want something. So my obvious question morphing into it would be, have you learned to deal with A personalities? And second part of the question, have you become an A personality?
So I have to say that I do love my A personalities in my life. They've definitely given me a tenacity that I didn't think I had. Having said that, I know when it's time to step up and be who I need to be to get the job done, but I also know when it's time to step back and let them be who they are. And also, every single one of the people that you have mentioned has taken such good care of me. I'm part of their team, and I value that about my career and about my team members. Tony and Gordy and Reggie, like you said, have all been strong leaders, and I've learned a lot from all of them. So yeah, I do appreciate their position. I appreciate and respect what they do. I don't think we would have come as far as we have without them. So, and I'm just lucky to be on their good side and get the job done and do what we all want to do to make things better for Terrebonne. So that's a good thing.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
When the governor came down the other day and he was, talking about Gordy in the interview I had with him, I think he called one of them a bulldog, and the other one, I don't know, it was less of a fierce dog, but I said, no, they're a pit bull and a Rottweiler.
Right.
Because those two can really get it going, but for a great
sure.
cause. You do have a shy side. I've watched you at all the functions. I've watched you putting these events together. Your main goal is to make everybody shine.
Right.
You do such a fantastic job at that. You don't even get up to the mic most of the times. You let the hurrahs go along. You let it all happen. But behind the scenes, you are making sure everybody's on point. You're making sure everybody's included. Where'd you get that from?
I guess just years of doing it. I mean, I've been doing this for 23 years, and I know that my job is to make sure that everyone else is taken care of, and that, I do have a great team that work with me, so I don't do it all by myself for sure. But yeah, that's part of what I've learned over the years,
Yeah. What's an average day for you?
Lately, my day starts off with not a whole lot going on, and then ends up where I have a lot of meetings these days. But we have a lot going on with construction and with the core project, so that takes up most of my time. But usually, it's just meetings and progress meetings, on-site meetings. Some days I'm on the levee, some days I'm in Baton Rouge, some days I'm in New Orleans. So we're kind of all over the place. So it's kind of a challenge to manage that. As far as if I'm going on a site visit, I have to watch what I wear and, that kind of thing. I can't dress like I am today,
Yeah.
So it just depends on what the day holds. But it's all different, and it's definitely not boring, for sure.
Yeah. Let's go back to your schooling, because I want to get back to the shy part. When did you when did you come out of your shell? Because the job you're in now is very demanding, and you got to be very assertive at times. But when did you sense that you were coming into your own?
Probably in college, I would say. I really didn't come out in like my undergrad school. It's more like my master's degree when I started to really get comfortable in my skin and realize that, what my purpose was and how I could contribute more and that kind of thing. So, late 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you get on these sites, we've flown in helicopters so many times, or when you see it by drone footage, all these projects, they look smaller from the air. But when you get to ground level, for instance, the Bubba Dove, we could show drone footage all we want. It's sort of minuscule by size until you get on ground level and you have to walk the Bubba Dove. Or you have to get to the Bubba Dove. These are massive projects with massive engineering. You probably get to work with a lot of brilliant people, don't you?
I do. I'm very fortunate. All of my consultants, I'm privileged every day that I get to work with people like Mitch Marmon and David Boudreau over at Delta Coast, and then some O'Neill Malbrook, the legends of our community that have designed all these massive structures. I'm very fortunate to know and work with all of them.
Yeah. Isn't it funny, because I've been at lunches and suppers with all the above named and many more, and I listen to the banter going back and forth. Some of it's fun, then it gets serious, and then they start talking about how to. I remember watching O'Neill and Gordy draw something on a napkin one time that turned out to be the final product, but everything starts with the realization that something has to be done. You've been there through the whole process.
I have. I never would have thought that I would see the level of construction that we have today, ever. When I first started, it was a dream. It was something we talked about, never thought it would happen, but it's because of all the people that we mentioned that it came to life. So I'm truly fortunate to be here where I am now at this time, because those who come behind me aren't going to realize how hard it was to get here and how much blood, sweat, and tears we had to go through to get here. So
I remember when we had Time for Action, and I would hand the mic, or Jimmy the Gate would hand the mic to people to speak. And it was all the who's who on the stage. Some of them made promises. I won't mention any names, Tony Alford, made promises that we all at the time went,
yeah,
he did not just say that. But looking back now, it happened.
it is. It's true.
President, Terrebonne Levee District, Tony Alford. Thank you, Jimmy. Martin, thank you for doing this. I just want to tell everybody, on the levee board, we've got people from all over the bayous. I spent 10 years in Grand Caillou, hunting, fishing, trapping, tagging along with some neighbors that showed me how to trap. And I want to tell you, this levee board is committed to you. Let there be no mistake. We are going to build those levees with Washington or without. So Washington, send us the money and we'll build the levees, with or without you. Thank you.
I remember when my board, him in particular, he was always so passionate, and I knew that he would never come on be a part of a board unless he could lead it into something different than it was. So when he came, the tides changed, the momentum of the board changed, and the climate was definitely more urgent than ever. So at the time I said, is all this necessary? Are we doing the right thing? But we did, and thankfully we did. And now we don't sweat so much for tropical storms, or you remember the days when we would flood for a Category 1, hurricane, and we don't have any of those issues anymore. Yeah. So I'm definitely fortunate that all that took place when it did.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
My first hurricane was Juan, and that was a minimal storm, but it sat over us. It was a 1, but it sat over us for 3 days. And then we had Clifford Smiths and all sitting on the news desk with me going, if we ever have one coming up to Yucatan and it hits in Morgan City,
it's over.
We're done.
Yep.
And it scared a lot of people, but, and Bob Breck took a lot of heat years ago because Lily was coming up the pipe, And I never forget when he said, if you live in Houma and Raceland
Yeah.
and you haven't left, I think he said, you're going to die.
Yeah, he did.
And our phones started flooding over here on the news desk. But you know, looking back, he could have been right because we didn't have the protection we had now. Now, I'm not saying it would have been that catastrophic, but it was a 5 when he said that. It hit cooler waters and sucked in a low cold air, and I think it went to 3. But my God, a 5 at that time
Oh, yeah,
would have been
Devastating.
unbearable. Now we have a fighting chance.
we do.
You know, 1, 2, 3, we got it, but 4 or 5, all bets are off. But we have redundant levy systems now, so the people tax themselves.
That's right.
And so we always said they had skin in the game.
Yep. The year I started was when Lily came, so that was my first year, and it was scary, you know, but we muddled through that, and then of course we had the Katrina Rita in 05 and the Gustav Ike in 08, and after that things just started to go full speed ahead.
Yeah.
You know, we had passed a quarter-cent tax and then a half-cent tax, and people just, I mean, I remember when I first started, we would go, our office was in Chauvin, we'd go down the bayou, and people just were not loving the levee district at the time, you know, because
Right.
they had flooded. But now we can actually go places and people will come and thank us for all the work we've done because they haven't flooded in so many years. So that's important to remind people of how far we've come for sure. And you do a good job of that.
Oh,
So,
thank
yeah.
you. But we covered 11,000 plus homes that flooded in Rita, and then after Ida, 2 or 3.
Yeah,
I mean, that's progress.
it is progress. Yep.
That is a lot of progress. So when you have a hard day at work, I want to find out a little more of the fun side of Angela. When you have a hard day and you just listen to Tony moan and groan about something, and we've all heard that from time to time, but that's what makes him Tony. And then Gordy had an idea, or Reggie has an idea, or the new parish president, Jason Badron, has an idea, or anybody that's coming in, and at the end of the day you go, ooh, that was a rough day. How do you relax?
I'm a homebody, so I like being at home. You know, we hang out by the pool, or, you know, just get the kids, just kind of do that kind of thing, normal things. Have a glass of wine, cook, you know, normal things.
Yeah, that's the way you go.
Yep.
Now, of course, Brent, your partner, he works for the sheriff's department, so he sees a lot of things
He does.
too, and you see a lot of things. Is it business at home, or do you put it all aside?
He's a business person. I mean, he has his own side job thing that he does, you know, so he works a lot on that stuff. And then, you know, I have a side business too, so we kind of do our own thing at home. But when we do decompress, it's nice. You know, we relax and just chill out. Of course, we have to watch police shows, so that's the only thing he likes to watch.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm. This one-on-one program has been brought to you by the law offices of Waits and Downer.
Where sugar cane is grown. So much to see on HTV. Stick with us 'cause we're your home.